Hello folks, this is David Hurley of EasyChessTips.com, your pub chess bluffer. Very much in pub chess mode last night. I went to Southern Cross, 30th of April 2019 for a games party and larged it up with some chess playing and other games playing friends there last night. Here we are playing chess, Southern Cross, Hiroshima. You can see how the evening went. But here I am, the following day, drinking coffee today. There it is, and about to have a look at one of the games I played, though I didn't take notes. So I'll just show a little bit of the game, in which I was black, and a situation came up which as a French defence player I wasn't ready for, which simply shows that my preparation of the French defence is still quite shallow. But let me show you what happened, and we'll talk about how to deal with it. So here we have the French defence, e4, e6, and usually this is the second move. It's the kind of expected second move is d4. But this is what happened last night. A player, a guy who I'd never met before, a nice guy called Matt, he came in, he wanted to play. He said he hadn't played chess for a long time. And he had one trick up his sleeve, which he remembered from his chess playing days at school, I think, which was this here second move, bishop to b5. And later on, he referred to it as the Spanish Gambit, which I had not heard of before. And it was interesting to see talking about gambiting a bishop. Now, I don't know whether that is a technical name for this, but in my researches this morning, I discover that it's called the bird invitation. And it's called the bird invitation because it appears to invite a very early draw. It's a kind of nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Why don't we accept a draw and call it a day after 3 moves or 4 or 5 moves only? In this situation, which is actually how I responded to this move, if black puts his queen straight out here, attacking the undefended g pawn, as well as attacking the bishop, and white then returns his bishop back to its home square, black can then do likewise, return his queen to the same square, and you get this possibility of a threefold repetition leading to a draw. Which is a rather dodgy way, a shady way to approach a game of chess, and not really to be approved of. However, that was not the aim of my friend last night, my opponent, Matt. His intention was, in fact, to lose the bishop early on, and this is how our game developed. Now, I didn't take notes, so I can't remember what happened after the first few moves, but I was expecting him to return his bishop or do something to defend the bishop, but instead he attacked my queen with his knight, and I thought it was simply a kind of rookie blunder. So I took his bishop, and you can see black has this big advantage, obviously, now. And then this is how the next few moves came out. I now thought I'd get back into business with a French defense kind of setup. He attacked my queen. Well, I just brought the queen back, and he attacks my queen again, and I brought my queen back to the home square. And that's all I can remember of the game, since we were playing beer chess in a pub without taking notes. But I ended up in quite a tangle. I lost to, I think there's an unfavorable exchange of a rook and a bishop, and the other bishop, so he had no bishops. I had a material advantage, but I forget how it happened. But the whole point he was telling me afterwards of that kind of way of playing is to completely mess with black's plans for his setup and get black in a tangle, basically. Well, I did get into a tangle, but I managed to hold on and to win the game. I think it's simply by the vagaries of pub chess rather than any great skill of my own. So that is how the game developed last night. But I was intrigued by what he was telling me about the game, so I thought I'd check it out. Also, to get a bit of better prep in how to prepare, or how to respond rather, to unusual opening moves when you are expecting a kind of regular French defense. So I looked up this second move in John Watson's Play the French, and I found a little section, just a very little section dealing with it here, with just one was it there on page 413 of the fourth edition of John Watson's Play the French. And so I'll show you the variation, or the way, one way it was dealt with back in 1988 in Berlin, when Valls was playing Weisser, and John Watson gives us the first 12 moves up to the point where black has an advantage, and this is how it went. So we have these opening moves here, and then we hop over to where is it? We hop over to this variation here. So C5, what am I talking about? C3 is the recommended response by John Watson, and this is how this game in 1988 proceeded. So yeah, the queen comes out there. The queen comes to A5. My brain is a little bit addled today after the adventures of last night. We get the knight comes out. The pawn attacks the knight, like so. And this is where the advantage appears to come in for black. Get this move here, that's it. So now here is where the game ends, with an apparent advantage for black. It looks like there's going to be a queen exchange at some stage, a queen exchange here, according to LiChess. So that's one way to deal with that early move, is to put the c-pawn out, attacking the bishop, kicking it back. However, when I put the first moves into LiChess, like so, you can see that LiChess is recommending that the attack come from the A pawn, A6. And so I'll take you through those few moves now. Where is it? A6, it comes in here. So you get A6, and I've just followed through with the LiChess engine moves. So you get something like an exchange variation, but with a different order here. The pawn comes out, the D pawn comes out after the exchange has been made, and you have the bishop sitting in front of the king. So, and this little pawn's advanced here, of course. So you have this slightly different setup, resembling somewhat the exchange variation. And this is the way things develop. And you can see that it's actually pretty much equal all the way through. I played it out to about the 20th move, just following LiChess's recommended moves, and it's pretty equal all the way through. That's as far as I played it. We finish after 20 moves with complete equality. So by making that early move, the early bishop move, moving the bishop in the second, it's intended to, if it's being played honestly, it's tended to disrupt black's plans for the French defense. But as long as you don't panic, and you play either the C6 or A6 move, you should be okay. So C6 is recommended by John Watson, and A6 is the LiChess engine recommendation. If somebody brings out the bishop early after playing E4, E6. And so that's that. It's the bird invitation is the name of this variation in the French defense. Okay, so I think that's all from me today. I shall drink some more coffee and take today rather more gently than I took yesterday. That's all for me, David Hurley, the pub chess bluffer, signing out with a nice cup of coffee. Yeah.